Good afternoon. This is All India Radio and I'm Anuja Kumar with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister invites people's ideas and suggestions about their demands and aspirations from upcoming Union Budget. CBI tells Supreme Court no evidence of murder of girls in Muzzaffarpur shelter home and the skeletons found were not of inmate girls. JNU Vice Chancellor meets HRD Secretary in New Delhi on steps to bring normalcy in the campus. A Ukrainian airplane crashes shortly after takeoff from Tehran airport, killing all 176 people on board. Rain and fresh snowfall throw life out of gear in several parts of North India. In an effort to engage common people directly on their demands and aspirations from the upcoming Union Budget, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has invited ideas and suggestions from them. In a tweet today, Mr. Modi said Union Budget represents the aspirations of 130 crore Indians and lays out the path towards India's development. He invited people to send their suggestions on mygov.in. Earlier, Finance Ministry had also urged people to share their valuable ideas in the field of agriculture, education and other sectors for the General Budget 2020-21. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman had pre-budget consultations with representatives of different sectors, including health, education, banking, infrastructure, energy, rural development, agriculture, as well as the leading economists and industry bodies. The Union Budget is expected to be presented in the first week of next month. The CBI has informed the Supreme Court that no evidence was found of murder of children at the Muzzaffarpur shelter home in Bihar. The agency told the top court that forensic investigation disregarded the two recovered skeletons. These have been found to be of a woman and a man. A bench headed by Chief Justice S.A. Bobde accepted the status report of the CBI. It also allowed two officers to be relieved from the investigation team. Attorney General K.K. Venugopal, appearing for the probe agency, said investigation was done on rape and sexual assault allegations and charge sheets have been filed before the courts concerned. He added that the children who were alleged to be murdered were later traced and found to be alive. The Attorney General said that CBI has investigated the cases of 17 shelter homes in Bihar and charge sheet has been filed in 13 of them. Meanwhile, in 4 cases, the preliminary inquiry was conducted and later closed as no evidence was found. The Centre moved the Supreme Court today seeking transfer of petitions challenging constitutional validity of the Citizenship Amendment Act, CAA, pending before different high courts to top court. A bench comprising Chief Justice S.A. Bobde and Justices B.R. Gavai and Surya Kant said it will hear the transfer petition of the Centre on January 10th. Appearing for the Centre, Solicitor General Tushar Mehta said there will be a problem as different high courts may take conflicting views and lawyers will be moving to different states to attend the proceedings. Jawaharlal Nehru University Vice Chancellor Jagdish Kumar today met Human Resource Secretary Higher Education Amit Khare in New Delhi. The meeting came in the wake of violence in JNU campus. Our correspondent reports Mr. Kumar briefed the HRD Secretary about the steps being taken at JNU to bring normalcy. Mr. Kumar later said all efforts are being made to facilitate winter semester registration for willing students and a conducive environment for their academic pursuits. Madarsa Managing Committee of West Bengal moved the Supreme Court today. It has challenged the top court's verdict upholding a law on appointment of teachers by a commission for minority institutions. A bench headed by Chief Justice S.A. Bobde said that it will hear the plea of the Madarsa Managing Committee next week. Supreme Court asked the Centre to look into the possibility of deployment of a separate cadre of CISF in certain courts to check unruly incidents of violence. A bench headed by Chief Justice S.A. Bobde said that had there been CISF deployment, the Delhi incident would not have taken place. Lawyers and police personnel had clashed at Tees Hazari Court complex in November last year. Senior advocate Siddharth Luthra, appearing as amicus in the matter, said there may be problem for lawyers. He added it would be appropriate if the Bar Council of India's review is also taken in the matter. The bench then issued notice to the BCI seeking its reply in 2 weeks. The Maharashtra Assembly today ratified the bill extending quota for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes in Lok Sabha and state assemblies by 10 years. A special one-day session of the Maharashtra legislature was held to ratify the Constitution Amendment Bill. The bill, which was passed by the Parliament last month, has to be ratified by at least 50% of the state assemblies before it is brought into force. More from our correspondent.
The joint sitting of both houses began this morning with the address of State Governor Bhagat Singh Koshyari. The governor said his government was committed to the welfare of SC, STs, nomadic tribes, downtrodden and the women and will execute the welfare schemes and other projects for them as early as possible. The reservation for members of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes given for the past 70 years in Lok Sabha and state assemblies is due to end on January 25th, 2020. Sonali Ghadiyal Patil, AIR News, Mumbai.
The Union Cabinet met under the chairmanship of Prime Minister Narendra Modi this morning. Union Ministers Prakash Javadekar, Dharmendra Pradhan and Prahlad Joshi are briefing media persons about the decision taken at the Cabinet meeting. Now we go over live to the press conference.
वो विनिवेश मजदूरों के पक्ष में रोजगार बढ़ाने वाले और महत्वपूर्ण है कि पारदर्शी तरीके से ये होते हैं और आज तक हुए बहुत सारे डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट में 51% मालिकाना हक ये सरकार के पास ही रहता है। इस बार नीलांचल इस्पात में जिनके मुख्य शेयर है MMTC मिनरल ट्रेडिंग कॉरपोरेशन, देन NMDC मिनरल डेवलपमेंट कॉरपोरेशन, मेकॉन भेल हमारे पास जो है और ओडिशा इन्वेस्टमेंट कॉरपोरेशन और ओडिशा माइनिंग कॉरपोरेशन, इन 6 संस्थाओं के जो नीलांचल इस्पात में शेयर्स है उसका कुछ पार्ट ये डिसइन्वेस्ट करेंगे। जो नया ऑक्शन में विजयी होगा उसको ये शेयर मिलेंगे। उससे नीलांचल इस्पात का रूप बदलेगा, रोजगार बढ़ेगा, नया तकनीक आएगा और देश के विकास में इस इस्पात ने पहले इतिहास में भूमिका बजाई है तो वैसी ही महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका करेंगे, ये मुझे विश्वास है।
This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates, visit our News on AIR app and follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. You can also visit our website www.newsonair.com. A Ukrainian airplane carrying 176 people crashed today shortly after takeoff from Tehran's main airport. State-run IRNA news agency said the crash killed all on board. The plane had taken off from Imam Khomeini International Airport in the Iranian capital when a fire struck one of its engines. A spokesman for Iran's Road and Transportation Authority said the pilot of the aircraft then lost control of the plane, sending it crashing into the ground. The plane carried 167 passengers and 9 crew members from different nations on its flight to the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv. The crash came hours after Iran launched a ballistic missile attack targeting 2 bases in Iraq housing U.S. forces in retaliation for the killing of the Revolutionary Guard General Qasem Soleimani. U.S. President Donald Trump, in his first reaction after Iran's missile attack on 2 American bases in Iraq, insisted that all is well and promised to make a statement to the nation today. Trump's tweet came after his reported meeting with his national security team, including Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Defense Secretary Mark Esper. According to the Iranian state TV, the attacks were in revenge for the killing of its General Soleimani in a U.S. drone strike which was ordered by President Donald Trump. Meanwhile, the Democratic Party leadership continued to blame Trump for the escalating tensions in the West Asia. Iran has claimed that 80 U.S. Army personnel have been killed and about 200 injured in missile attacks launched by Iranian Revolutionary Guards at American bases in Iraq. Quoting Revolutionary Guard sources, Fars news agency said that some 20 sensitive points of the military base were struck by 15 missiles early this morning. India has asked its citizens to avoid non-essential travel to Iraq and further notification in view of prevailing situation in the Gulf country. In a travel advisory, External Affairs Ministry said Indian nationals residing in Iraq are advised to be alert and may avoid travel within Iraq. The ministry said Indian Embassy in Baghdad and Consulate in Erbil will continue to function normally to provide all services to Indians residing in Iraq. Sri Lankan Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena will reach New Delhi tonight on a 2-day official visit to India. The minister, leading a high-level delegation, will arrive late evening on his first visit abroad since he took over as the foreign minister. Rain and fresh snowfall in several parts of North India has thrown life out of gear. Uttarakhand has been under the grip of a cold wave following fresh spell of snowfall in the hilly regions and rains in the plains. Several interconnecting roads in hilly regions including in Chamoli, Uttarkashi, Pithoragarh districts have been blocked owing to snowfall.
Around 200 villages across the state have been cut off from their respective district headquarters. People in remote areas are facing difficulties due to disruption in power and water supply. The administration has been engaged to clear the roads and restore the electric supply. Meanwhile, Tehran Meteorological Center has predicted that hail is likely to occur at isolated places, especially in Dehradun, Haridwar, Udhamnagar, Pauri and Nainital district in coming 24 hours. Similarly, there would be no relief for the hilly areas from cold receivers. Raghavesh Pandey, AIR News, Dehradun.
In Jammu and Kashmir, an army porter died after an avalanche struck Poonch district along the LOC yesterday evening. 3 others were rescued after the avalanche hit a forward location at Shahpur sector, trapping the porters. Army rescue teams immediately swung into action and managed to pull them out from the snow. But one of them succumbed to injuries while being evacuated to the hospital. High-altitude areas of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh experienced moderate to heavy snowfall. Authorities in Ladakh has issued a low-danger avalanche warning in various areas and asked people to avoid venturing into the avalanche-prone areas during the next 24 hours. In Himachal Pradesh, most of the high and mid-hills received heavy snowfall today. State capital Shimla experienced season's heaviest snowfall, which blocked many circuits roads. Tourists are thronging in large numbers to the major tourist hotspots of state to experience snowfall. Rain lashed Delhi and NCR this morning, bringing the mercury down and also causing traffic snarls in various parts of Delhi. Met officials said the minimum temperature was recorded at 9.3 degrees Celsius. With only 2 days left for the 3rd Khelo India Youth Games to begin in Guwahati, the game is all set to be the biggest sporting event in the country with close to 12,000 participants, including athletes. Talking to AIR, Chief Executive Officer of the Games, Avinash Joshi, said that nearly 6,500 athletes are set to take part in the event, which is the highest in comparison to the last 2 events. Mr. Joshi said that the inaugural ceremony will be held in an open stadium and large number of audiences are expected to see the event.
This time in Guwahati, we'll be having 20 sporting disciplines. That is one thing which is bigger. Here we are keeping it in the open stadium and with lot of people to cheer about. Star Sports, who is our official broadcaster, they have agreed to broadcast at least 11 disciplines live for at least 8 hours a day.
Meanwhile, the torch relay for the Khelo India Youth Games 2020 reached Hailakandi this morning. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister invites people's ideas and suggestions about their demands and aspirations from upcoming union budget. CBI tells Supreme Court no evidence of murder of girls in Muzzaffarpur shelter home and the skeletons found were not of inmate girls. JNU Vice Chancellor meets HRD Secretary in New Delhi on steps to bring normalcy in the campus. A Ukrainian airplane crashes shortly after takeoff from Tehran airport, killing all 176 people on board. Rain and fresh snowfall throw life out of gear in several parts of North India. And with that, we end the midday news.